Alright class, in this lesson we're going to take a look at solving log equations. And in this particular equation, we don't have to really use any log properties. Well, all we need to notice is that we've got 2 log base 3 equal to 2 log base 3. Well, it doesn't really matter what this stuff on the inside is. If we're saying these 2 logs are equal to each other, that must mean that these two things, x squared plus 7x minus 5, is equal to 6x plus 1. It has to be that way if these 2 logs are being set equal to each other. So that's the first thing you do, is actually get rid of the logs. You don't have to deal with them at all. And then you need to solve for x. So we go ahead and subtract 6x. In other words, we want this to be equal to 0. And solve for x. And so we go ahead and get x squared plus 1x minus 6 equals 0. And then I want to go ahead and factor and solve because it's a quadratic here. And we should get x times x and then negative 2 positive 3, because negative 2 times 3 gives me negative 6. And then when I add 3x minus 2, it'll give me the positive x in the middle. Anyway, equals 0. You could do magic x here also. And we get x equals 2 and then x equals negative 3. Alright? Now, usually the negative answer, when you come up with a log and you get 2 answers, usually the negative answer doesn't work, and in this case it actually doesn't. The reason why is because you can't take the log of a negative number. Okay? That doesn't work. So in this case we got to check it if it makes a negative number. If I put it up here, it does. I would get 6 times negative 3 and plus 1. So that would end up with negative 18. So I can't take the log of a negative number. So that means this answer is actually no good. The answer is x equals 2. So you'll get 2 answers whenever it's a quadratic here, but only one of them is valid. Okay. So if you have a log, 2 logs that are the same numbers out in front, that must mean that the insides are the same. So just set them equal to each other and solve it like we've been solving in the previous lessons. Okay. Now we've got one more example here for this section, and that is they'll give you 2 different logs or maybe even 3 bits of information, and they'll ask you to do the following. Okay? In other words, find these solutions. Well, what we need to do is realize that we can rewrite each one of these using our log properties that we had before. And what I'm looking at here is I need to figure out how can I rewrite 15 as either a sum or a product or a quotient, in other words, multiplication or division of 5 and 3. Well, as far as I can tell, 5 times 3 is 15. So I can rewrite this to be log base 2 of 5 times 3. 5 times 3 gives me 15, and so really I just rewrote the same log, which helps me because this, when it's multiplication, looks a lot like this property right here, that I can rewrite it as addition. So what that means is I can rewrite this to be log base 2 of 5 plus log base 2 of 3. And why that's helpful is because I know that log base 2 of 5 is 2.3219. And so I can just replace it here. Plus, I know that the log of base 2 of 3 is 1.5850. So I put plus 1.5850. And then I can just take my calculator and add these 2 numbers, and I get a final solution of 3.9069. And that is whatever log base 2 of 15 would have been. Okay? So that's what we need to look for each one of these next couple problems. In the second problem, we want to somehow come up with how 3 and 5, either the product or the quotient of them, would come up with 0.6. Well, if I divide 3 by 5, I actually come up with 0.6, which means I can rewrite this to be log base 2 of 3 over 5. And why that's useful is because I can rewrite this then as log base 2 of 3 minus log base 2 of 5. Because I know that log base 2 of 3 is 1.5850. I can subtract from it log base 2 of 5, which was 2.3219. That's just taking the information they gave me at the beginning and replacing it here in this equation. Now all I have to do is just plug it in my calculator, and I should get negative 0.7369. Okay? So that's your final answer for that problem. Now let's do this final one, log base 2 of 27. And in order to get this one, I've again got to think of how can I multiply 3 and 5 or 5 in any fashion to get 27. I need to rewrite 27. Well, 3 times 3 times 3 gives you 27. So I can actually rewrite this to be log base 2 of 3 times 3 times 3. Or I can rewrite it to be log base 2 of 3 cubed. So I can rewrite it this way, and then go ahead and rewrite it, or I can just do it this way, which is a little bit easier, and put the 3 out in front. So now I can make it 3 log base 2 of 3, which makes it really nice because I know what log base 2 of 3 is. It's just 1.5850. And this is saying all I have to do is times that by 3. So now I just get to take out my calculator and multiply. And that should give you 4.755. Okay? Now again, it'd be the same answer if I did it this way. I would just have to write log base 2 of 3 3 times. So I'd say plus log base 2 of 3 and then plus log base 2 of 3. And it's the same thing as multiplying the log base 2 of 3 times 3 because you're adding it 3 times. Okay? So either way, it gives you the same answer. Hopefully this is clear for you. And if you need any help, just go ahead and email me, and I'll get back to you.